Have you ever been in a conversation with a woman where everything seems to be going perfectly, and then suddenly the vibe shifts? You say one wrong thing, maybe a joke that falls flat, or an opinion that's too agreeable, and the warmth in her eyes turns to ice. You're left scrambling, trying to figure out what just happened. Let me be perfectly clear. That was not an accident. That was a test, and you just failed. The worst part, you probably don't even know why. Most men go through life completely blind to this reality. They think a woman's attraction is random, that it's all about looks, money, or just dumb luck. Here's the truth. A woman is constantly, subconsciously, filtering men. She's running diagnostics to see if you are the man you present yourself to be. These aren't malicious games. They are deeply ingrained survival mechanisms. She is testing your confidence, your backbone, and your emotional strength. And 90% of men fail these tests without even knowing they're taking them. They slowly lose her respect, and then, inevitably, they lose her entirely. But that pattern of confusion and rejection ends today. By the end of this video, you will have the playbook. I am going to reveal the 7 most common tests women use on men, why they do it, and exactly how to pass them with unshakable confidence. You will stop guessing and start understanding. But before we dive in, I need to know that you are serious. If you are ready to stop flying blind, comment reveal the truth below right now. Let me know you're committed. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see dating, women, and yourself forever. All right, let's get straight to it. The first, and arguably the most common test you will ever face, is the disagreement test. This is how it works. She'll state a strong, sometimes even provocative, opinion about something subjective, a movie, a song, politics, even what toppings belong on a pizza. Then she looks at you, waiting. Pay close attention here, because she's not looking for a puppy who just nods along. She is testing a fundamental question. Do you have a mind of your own? I once coached a man. Let's call him David. He was on a 3rd date, and things were going great. She turned to him and said she hated his favorite band, calling their music boring and overrated. David panicked. He thought that to keep the harmony, he had to agree with her. So his instant reaction was to say, "Oh yeah, you know what? They're not that great anyway." He thought he was being agreeable, a so-called nice guy. But what she heard was weakness. She later told her friend, and I know this for a fact, "He just agrees with whatever I say. He has no backbone." In that one moment, David lost her respect. You see, a woman isn't looking for your agreement. She's looking for your conviction. This is the critical point where 90% of men fail. They fall into one of 2 traps. The first is the people pleaser, like David, who abandons his own reality to live in hers. The second is the argumentative man, who gets defensive and turns a simple opinion into a full-blown debate. Both of these reactions come from a place of deep insecurity. So, how do you pass? It's simple. You hold your ground, but you do it with respect. You don't make her feel wrong, but you absolutely do not pretend you're someone you're not. You look at her, smile calmly, and say something like, "I can see why you'd think that." For me, though, their lyrics have always stood out. We can just agree to disagree on this one. This response is powerful. It validates her right to an opinion, but it firmly asserts your own. You are not a threat, but you are not a pushover. Hear me clearly. A woman does not want a clone of herself. She wants a man who can lead. And you cannot lead if you don't have your own direction, your own principles, and your own taste. She needs to know that when life gets tough, you won't fold under pressure. Stand your ground. If you thought the disagreement test was subtle, this next one is designed to throw you completely off balance. It's known in many circles as the shit test, or more politely, the playful jab. This is a sarcastic comment, a playful insult, a verbal grenade tossed in your direction for one reason and one reason only: to see how you react. It is a direct test of your mental and emotional frame. Imagine this common scenario. You're out somewhere, maybe a bar, and you're feeling confident. You're wearing a new shirt you actually like. She looks you up and down, smirks, and says, "Nice shirt. Did your mom buy it for you?" Now, your first instinct might be to feel attacked or insulted. But you must understand this. She is not actually asking about your shirt. She does not care who bought it. She is testing your reality. She's asking a deeper question. Are you easily rattled? Is your confidence so fragile that a single comment can shatter it? And this is precisely where most men crumble. They get defensive. What's wrong with my shirt? I happen to like it. This is an instant fail. They get offended and shut down emotionally. Another fail. Or, even worse, they try to insult her back clumsily, which just makes them look bitter and reactive. They lose their cool. And in that moment, they lose her attraction. The way to pass this test is to show her that her words have zero power over your emotional state. You must remain completely unfazed. The best technique for this is to agree and amplify. She says, "Did your mom buy it for you?" You don't flinch. You smile, maybe lean in slightly, and say with a confident smirk, "She's got great taste, doesn't she?" Or, even better, "Yeah, she told me it would drive you wild." You've just taken her grenade, disarmed it, and handed it back with a smile. You've proven that your confidence isn't a performance, it's real. Let me give it to you straight. When a woman throws a jab at you, she is not attacking you as a person. She is testing the walls of your emotional fortress. If those walls can crumble from a single playful comment, how can she ever feel safe and secure with you when a real storm hits? Now we move from verbal tests to action-based tests. And this next one is a classic that makes most well-intentioned men lose their minds. I'm talking about the Flake Test. This is when she cancels plans, often at the very last minute. The text comes in an hour before your date, just as you're about to get ready. "So sorry, something came up. Can we rain check?" Before you even think about how to respond, you must understand this. The specific reason for her cancellation is almost always irrelevant. What's being tested here is your reaction. She is subconsciously checking your level of abundance and neediness. The real question she's asking is, does your world stop spinning just because she's not available? I had a client who was furious when a woman canceled their second date. He sent her a long paragraph asking for an explanation and immediately trying to lock down a new time. He never heard from her again. Why? He showed his cards way too early. He revealed that his entire evening and his sense of validation depended entirely on her. This is the trap. 90% of men fail by showing they are emotionally affected. They get angry. They act disappointed and passive-aggressive. Or, most commonly, they immediately start chasing, "Oh, okay. Well, when are you free next? What about tomorrow or Friday?" This behavior screams desperation. It tells her that you have nothing else going on in your life and that your time is invaluable. The way to pass the Flake test is to demonstrate that her change of plans has almost zero impact on you and your evening. Your response must be cool, brief, and completely unbothered. She flakes. You wait a few minutes. Then you simply reply, "No problem. Hope everything's okay." That is it. Then you put your phone away. You go to the gym. You meet up with your friends. You work on your business. You go and live your high value life. And you let her be the one to bring up rescheduling. This single action shifts the entire dynamic. Let this sink in. Your time is your single most valuable asset. The moment you let a woman see that her presence is more important than your own mission, you lose all leverage. A man who is grounded in his own purpose is always the prize. So you've passed the flake test by showing your time is valuable. Now comes the test that happens when you're actually together. It's subtle, but it is absolutely critical for building attraction. This is the leadership test. It often comes in the form of a simple, innocent question. I don't know. What do you want to do? Or where should we eat tonight? Hear this now. And do not forget it. When a woman asks this, she is almost never genuinely asking for your preference. This is a verbal invitation. She is handing you the steering wheel of the interaction to see if you know how to drive. She wants to see if you are a man who can lead. Think about the endless, frustrating loop so many couples get stuck in. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you want? This back and forth isn't just annoying, it's a constant, low-grade failure of the leadership test. She is looking for you to take charge, and you are repeatedly showing her that you can't or you won't. This is where 90% of men get it wrong. They are terrified of making the wrong choice, picking a restaurant she won't like, or an activity she finds boring. So they toss the decision back to her, thinking they're being considerate and collaborative. But what she feels is a vacuum of leadership. You are forcing her into a masculine decision-making role, which is the opposite of what she wants to be in when she's with you. The way to pass is to simply make a decision with confidence. I want to be clear, this is not about picking the perfect 5-star restaurant. It's about having the conviction to make a choice and lead her on an experience. Good or bad, she asks, "Where should we go?" You don't hesitate. You smile and say, "I know a great Italian place downtown that I think you'll love. Let's go there. I'll handle it." See the difference. Plan, action, leadership. Here's the absolute truth. A woman secretly craves a man who can guide the interaction. She wants to relax into her feminine energy, trusting that he has a plan and can take control. If you can't even decide on dinner, how can she ever trust you to lead your family, your finances, or your life together? You've shown you have direction and can lead. Now comes a test designed to probe the very foundation of your self-worth. It's one of the most powerful and dangerous tests you'll face, the jealousy test. It begins innocently. She'll casually mention another man. It might sound like, "My coworker, Mark, is so funny." Or, "My ex just texted me." When you hear this, know that a test has begun. She is not giving you information. She is gauging your reaction. The test isn't about Mark or her ex. They are irrelevant. It's about you. She's asking one fundamental question. Is your confidence so fragile that another man's existence can shatter it? Or are you so grounded in your own value that he is simply background noise? Tragically, 90% of men walk right into this trap. They become the interrogator, asking a dozen insecure questions. They become the aggressor, getting cold and passive-aggressive, or they become the pleader, overcompensating to prove they're better than the other guy. All of these are catastrophic fails that scream, "I am not enough." The only way to pass this test is to be completely unthreatened. Your emotional state must not flicker. The best response is calm indifference or positive nonchalance. She says, "My coworker, Mark, is so funny." You smile. Say nice. and then immediately ask a question about her day that isn't related to him. This signals that you are so confident in your own value that other men aren't even on your radar. You are the prize, and you act like it. Burn this into your mind. Insecurity is the single fastest killer of female attraction. Your calm is your power. A king doesn't worry about the noise made by commoners outside his castle walls. He knows his position is secure. You've demonstrated confidence under pressure. You've shown you're unbothered by competition. Now comes a test of your emotional depth and your capacity for true connection. This is the vulnerability test. It happens when she shares a small fear, an insecurity, or a story of when she was truly hurt or let down. This is not casual conversation. This is her opening a window to her soul. Just a crack. She might tell you about a childhood fear, a past heartbreak, or a quiet anxiety she carries. When this happens, you must understand she is not looking for you to solve her problem. She is testing whether you are a safe emotional space. Can you hold her vulnerability without breaking it? Can you be a rock? Or will you crumble under the weight of her emotions? I remember a man who failed this spectacularly. His girlfriend told him about a childhood trauma. His immediate response was, "Oh, you should really see a therapist about that." He thought he was being helpful. What she heard was, "I can't handle your emotions. You are a problem to be fixed, not a soul to be understood." He instantly shut down the emotional intimacy she was trying to build. This is where 90% of men get it profoundly wrong. They immediately go into fix-it mode. You should do this, or you shouldn't feel that way. Or, just as bad, they dismiss her feelings. That's nothing to worry about. They fail to connect with her emotional experience. They fail to understand that this isn't a logical problem to be solved, it's an emotional space to be held. The way to pass this test is to simply listen. You validate her feelings without judgment. You create a space where she feels heard and safe. A simple, empathetic response is 1,000 times more powerful than any proposed solution. She shares her fear. You look her in the eyes, maybe gently touch her hand, and say, "That sounds incredibly tough. Thank you for trusting me with that. I'm here for you." This response tells her, "I hear you. I see you. You are safe with me. I am strong enough to hold your emotions." You become her rock, not her repairman. Let this truth resonate. A woman's vulnerability is an invaluable gift. If you can hold that space for her without flinching, and you prove you are an emotionally strong man she can truly lean on, you are a man worthy of her deepest trust. You've shown you can be her rock in moments of vulnerability. But now comes the final and perhaps the most advanced test of them all. This is the one that separates the truly confident men from the boys, because it requires absolute emotional control. This is the silence test. It's when she suddenly pulls back her energy. In person, she might go quiet. Over text, her replies become short, delayed, or stop altogether. Your first instinct will be panic. Your mind will race. What did I do wrong? Is she mad at me? Did I lose her? But you must understand this critical truth. Her silence is rarely about something you did. It is a test of your emotional center. She is pulling away to see if you will chase. She needs to know, is your self-worth dependent on her constant attention and validation? Think about the guy who sends a text, gets no reply, and then an hour later sends another. Then the fatal blow is everything okay? With each desperate message, he is digging his own grave. He is failing the test in real time for her to see, proving his entire emotional state is in her hands. This is where 90% of men fail catastrophically. Their anxiety takes over, and they immediately start chasing They double text, triple text. They call to ask what's wrong. They flood her with neediness, which is the emotional equivalent of telling her, "You are the source of my happiness. And without you, I am nothing." This is the single most unattractive thing a man can do. The only way to pass the silence test is to do nothing. You give her the gift of your absence. You mirror her silence and give her space. You do not react. Instead, you get busy with your own life. You go to the gym. You focus on your work. You meet your friends. You demonstrate through your powerful inaction that your happiness is generated internally, not provided by her. Let her be the one to break the silence. This is the ultimate truth of masculine energy. A man who is secure in himself and grounded in his own mission does not need constant validation from anyone. Your silence in the face of her silence is the loudest and most powerful statement of confidence you can possibly make. So, you've just walked through the invisible battleground of attraction. You've learned about the disagreement test, forcing you to hold your ground, the playful jab, demanding your unshakable frame, the flake test, proving your value, the leadership test, asking if you can guide, the jealousy test, probing your deep-seated security, the vulnerability test, measuring your emotional strength, and finally, the silence test, the ultimate gauge of your independence. These aren't just isolated incidents. They are a sophisticated, subconscious filtering system that women use. She's not trying to trick you. She's asking one fundamental question: are you the real deal? Now you have the playbook. But let me be absolutely clear. This isn't about memorizing lines or faking it. Trying to manipulate these tests will only lead to a shallow, unsustainable connection. This is about becoming the man who passes these tests naturally. It's about cultivating a strong backbone. It's about having a mission in life that is bigger than any single woman. It's about being so secure in your own value that no test, no challenge, no emotional manipulation can shake you. Stop trying to win the girl. Start focusing on becoming the man that she inherently wants to win. The attraction will then be the inevitable result, not the elusive goal. If this video opened your eyes and gave you the clarity you've been searching for, then this is your moment of truth. Subscribe to this channel right now, because this is your new training ground for masculine excellence. Share this video with one other man in your circle who is still flying blind. And finally, in the comments below, tell me, which of these 7 tests have you experienced the most in your life? It's time to stop being a student of the game and start becoming a master. See the truth. Act with strength.